Hello, hello. It's indeed a great privilege to have you all here today. I'm always very, very happy to have you tuned into this channel. All right, today we'll be discussing about communication in relationship, be it relationship between you and your children, your spouse, your neighbors, and even in the workplace. All right, let's dive in. But before we do that, please hit the subscription button and subscribe to this channel. In this channel, we'll talk about human relationship as it relates to husbands and their wives, parents and their children. We also talk about relationship that relates to neighbors and intending couples. All right. So, when it comes to communication, a lot of people think that just opening their mouths and talking means they are communicating. No. We are talking about effective what? Communication. Before I start this discussion today, I'd like to tell a story. There was this woman who had a little child, and then she gave an instruction to her um, house help and told her before she left for work and told her, give this child this medication, give the child 5 meal in the morning, 5 meal in the afternoon, and 5 meal in the evening in case I'm not back on time. But if I'm back on time, I'll administer the one of the evening. And the house help said, okay. And what did the house help do? The house help ended up overdosing the child. Why do you think this happened? Because there was a bridge in communication. Yes. What I mean by a bridge in communication is that the house help did not even understand what the madam of the house was saying. And then the madam of the house, in the other hand, should have even asked her, do you understand? And then and should have asked her to repeat exactly what she told her. That way, she would have been able to avert that problem. The girl in question was absent-minded, and as the madam was talking, she was not even listening well. She did not even hear the correct information. She ended up administering 15 mil in the morning. And in the afternoon, when she wanted to administer another dose of 15 mils, the baby was behaving somehow and she was like, I don't know what is wrong with this child. She picked up the phone and called the madam. And the madam asked her, how many mil did you give the child? And she was like, 15. And the woman shouted, she rushed over to the house and rushed the child to the hospital because the child had been overdosed. All right, that brings me to our topic today, effective communication. All right, communication has a whole lot of angles to it, okay? There are so many points that entails a good communication. All right, but I'm going to list few points here that we can actually use as a basic, okay? So now, what is actually communication? It is an instance of information transfer, a conversation or discourse. That is what a communication is. It is the concept or state of exchanging information between people. Okay? Now, let's look at tips for better or improved communication. All right, active listening. When someone is communicating, you should pay attention, please. It's very important that you pay attention and process whatever information the person is trying to pass across to you so that you wouldn't be hearing something else while the person is saying something else. Most especially nowadays, people tend to, communicate in a very bad way. You will see someone talking to maybe a friend, or a husband talking to his wife, or a wife talking to the husband, and the other party will be busy pressing his or her phone. That's a very bad one. When you want to engage in communication, effective communication, please make sure that you are attentive. You, the listener, should be attentive. And the person communicating to you should also make sure that you're listening attentively. So that at the end of the day, it wouldn't be that the person is passing on information to you and you're hearing something else because of the fact that you're absent-minded. This most times bring problem in a home. Maybe a husband and a wife are having a conversation and the wife is absent-minded or the man is absent-minded. At the end of the day, you won't be able to process the right information. You end up doing the opposite of maybe what the person is telling you to do or what you have discussed because of the fact that you didn't listen attentively. And then another thing is that even when you're listening attentively, please, the speaker should ensure that the person he or she is speaking to is listening attentively, and then the person listening, receiving the information, should also do what? Pay attention and then process this information before responding. Because oftentimes we have this attitude of not letting the person speaking to us finish their conversation, and then we do what? Interrupt them. I've learned in school that it is very bad to interrupt someone during a conversation. Allow that person to communicate whatever information he or she is trying to communicate, and then process that information and then answer accordingly. If you don't do that, sometimes you're in a rush to answer, then you've not even heard all that the person wanted to say. You just heard half of the information and you're already acting. Oftentimes, it can lead to a whole lot of problem. Before you know it, there will be an exchange of word. The house will be on fire. People will start quarreling because of the fact that you did not even wait to hear all the information the person is trying to pass across to you. So it's very, very important, essential that we listen attentively and allow the person speaking to finish speaking. We shouldn't interrupt them. It's rude to interrupt someone while the person is talking. All right, another one is you should empathize. Okay? Put yourself in the place of that person. If it's your spouse, maybe your spouse, you've been doing things that your spouse don't like. And then your spouse tries to communicate to you that, I don't like this thing you're doing. Can you stop it? Maybe let me cite an example. Maybe as a woman, you cook you cook meals very late at night, very late in the evening. Let me put it that way. Maybe your husband is back from work, and 1 hour after he's back from work, you've not served him food. The man is famished. He's so hungry. Someone that worked all day, and then he comes back home and he has to wait for you for more than an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to prepare meal. And then one day the man is like, I've had it up to the brim, and he wants to talk about it. Please stop this thing you're doing. And you don't put yourself in that man's shoes as a woman. You don't empathize with him. Then you are like, some of us, that's what we do. We just lash out. Why must you tell me this or tell me that? Don't you know that I have so much to do? Please, it's very important that we do what? Empathize with our partners or with whoever it is that is trying to pass an information across to us. Most especially if it is something that gives them concern that they want to talk about. Okay? All right, another one is avoid blame. Okay? Avoid what? Blame. When you want to talk, most especially for the husband and wives or for intending couples, or even this can also be applied even in the workplace or between you and your neighbor, okay? So you should always avoid the use of I statements, okay, instead of you statements to express your feelings and needs without blaming anyone, okay? You should always express your needs without blaming anyone. Okay, just like the example I gave now, a woman that cooks meals very late, and then her husband has to wait for a very long time to be served. dinner. As a man, don't blame the woman too much, because if you go that way, there might be a serious problem. You might end up, you know, making her angry, and then there'll be an exchange of words and all that. Okay, for some women that don't listen very well. Okay, so what you should do, don't apportion blame. Just go straight to your what your needs are. Tell your partner that it will be better you improve on this area or that area. I think this thing you're doing this way, you can actually do it that way. Okay, you can advise her if it's a matter of the food. I'm just using that as an example. There are other situations that might come up. But you could say things like, honey, could you do me a favor? It would be nice if you can, start dinner earlier than you usually do. Okay, so that by the time I'm home, I'll eat on time. Okay, I'm usually famished, waiting for you for the food to be cooked and for you to serve the meal. Okay, something like that. Don't you think if you come out like that, the woman might, be considerate? But if you go like, what is wrong with you? Why is it that you're always cooking meals? These meals very late at night. Why is it that you always let me come back home and wait for hours before you serve me dinner? Are you daft? Is there anything wrong with your head? You see, you've started blaming her directly, and then it's not as if she's not at fault, but there is a way you can be diplomatic about it so that peace would reign in the home. Okay, so you see these two instances that I cited, and these two examples are, one is diplomatic, but the other one you're just throwing blames at her. And in such situations, if it's a woman that is very, very, should I say, aggressive, a woman that has anger issues, she might just lash out, and then it will be a big problem. So please pay attention. All right, another one is be clear and direct. When you're passing information to someone, you should be clear and direct. Make sure the person understands you. If it's for you to use or how do I put it now? A simple language that the person can understand. Please use simple terms so that the person would really understand. You come to the person's level so that the person can understand the information you're trying to pass across to him or her. Very important. Another one is when okay. Another one is timing also matters. When you look at the person you're trying to engage in communication with, and you discover that the person is not going to give you full attention at that moment, maybe the person is working, doing one or two things that is distracting him or her, please allow that person to finish whatever he or she is doing. Okay, don't go interrupting that person at that moment, because at that moment you won't get a very good conversation with that person. The communication will not be effective. So look for a time when the person is more relaxed, less busy, and then you come in with your communication or whatever discussion you want to or discuss, or information you want to pass across to that person. Very important. Then learn to also manage your emotions. Okay, in case you're speaking with somebody and you see that the person has started maybe kind of lashing out, the person is not taking the information, how do I put it now? The person is not really comfortable with the information you're passing across to him or her. The person is beginning to, get angry. Don't also get angry at that point. Just cool off, calm down. If you can just breathe in and breathe out and try to relax. Don't allow that person's disposition or the person's words or the person's reaction to get to you, because if you allow that happen, then before you know what is happening, you might be breaking things all over the place, fighting. So it's better even when you see that the person you're trying to communicate with is kind of lashing out, is angry, trying to talk anyhow, you calm down, calm yourself down. It's very important. Okay, I hope that these few points that I just raised now can help someone communicate effectively. This should be a guide. Please do well to subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.